Hello and happy Thursday. You are live today on Thursday, and we are on day 3 of Summer Shape Up Challenge. And give me just 1 second. I want to make sure that my window is set up so that I can see your comments and questions. So just give me 1 second. Okay, I think I am set up to where I can see comments from you all, which is awesome. Here we go. Okay, great. And so, day 3, can you believe that it is day 3 of the challenge already? I am so looking forward to seeing your comments and hearing all the wonderful testimonies and good news and praise reports. And for those who do not know who I am, I'm Sandra Goltry. I am a woman of faith who is blessed to serve as a registered dietitian for men and women and the proud host of this 3-day challenge. And I want to welcome you to day 3, where we had 3 days of clean eating with powerhouse breakfast smoothies. And so these 3 days have flown by, and I have truly enjoyed hearing the comments of success as well as the challenges. That's important. Talk about the challenges. Challenges are real and helpful to all of us. And just know that challenges helps us to grow, helps us to move forward, and helps us to bring us to that place where God intends for us to go. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the power of group support. Each of you have joined this challenge as individuals and immediately began feeding off of each other's energy, motivation, drive, and even the shared challenges and fears. And that's what it's all about. Make no mistake that you all are put in a time, you put in all the time, you put in the work, you put in the effort to make this challenge as successful for you as possible. So if at least one barrier went down that was holding you back, count these 3 days as a success. Okay, you succeeded. And I want to share with you another case to show where somebody, a former client of mine, had some serious struggles, especially with dieting, a series of dieting to the point where it just led to a lot of health problems. And so I want to share this with you, and you can follow along. I just put the information in the chat, and so you can follow along with her story. You can see her face and her photos as I describe her. So she had years of extreme dieting to finally break the dieting cycle, and she was down 40 pounds and counting. And so while she was on this strict keto, she lost 50 pounds and a ton of inches. She worked out at Orange Theory. She trained like 4 or 5 times a week. And then life kicked in. We know that the unexpected kicks in, life kicks in. So her schedule changed, illness that required medications. Her weight came back with 30 extra pounds within 7 months. She had many years of dieting, and nutritional deficiencies had caught up with her. She was diagnosed with anxiety with no known mental history or health history. Many said that burnout, adrenal fatigue was the cause of the onset. So that's kind of what the doctors were saying. She was put on Zoloft. And after 2 months of severe insomnia, low mood, heart racing, palpitations, chest tightening, just all kinds of side effects, she just said she was done. She called it the crash. Okay, she had reached the point where she had just came to the crashing moment. Fast forwarding, we partnered together for about 3 months, and combined with, she had a death of her brother that due to brain cancer that led to Tracy gaining about 20 pounds. Okay, so she gained about 20 more pounds, and she had reached her highest weight, which was about 290 pounds. And in her own time, Tracy healed. She picked up the pieces of her life, but she also, the coaching and education that we had over those 3 months helped her to finally find her way to get back on track. So that's why I said it's not about my timing, or it's not about a program timing. It's really about you and what you're willing to open up and accept and allow things to blossom. And so she stopped binge eating. She stopped restricting carbs. She stopped skipping meals. She lost 40 pounds without dieting and deprivation. She's off the Zoloft. Her hormonal balances have been corrected. Her A1C, which is a marker for prediabetes, are back to normal. And she continues on the journey of good health and weight loss. She's an avid bike rider, as you can see in one of her pictures. And so it's just a really beautiful thing to see success and to see a complete turnaround like that. And again, it is very, very possible for each and every one of you. All you got to do is stay in the game. Just stay in the game and keep God first. And that's first and foremost. And then everything will work together the way that it should work together. And so you have already started on the path because you have joined and participated in this challenge just to get a sneak peek and see what I'm all about. But this is just the surface, okay? Just know that this is just a surface, something fun and something that we can do as a group setting. I really love my private one-on-ones because then we can dig deeper and dig below the surface to really get to the root of everything. And so no matter what your level of your personal weight journey is or your struggle, there's always a way out with the right support and right guidance. So here's a breakdown for today. So we're going to recap yesterday for a little while. We're going to do a quick assessment and feedback of day 2. Any questions, anything that pops up, then go ahead and chime in. We're going to go over today's topic, which today we're talking about Stinkin Thinkin, where we're going to stop that all or nothing approach to weight loss and to finally get the weight off and to keep it off. Okay. And so as you're tuning in and as you're chiming in, definitely say hello to me and feel free to chime in and say any comments. Okay. And then finally, we're going to end with a quick review of the next steps. Okay. So by now, many of you have heard about my 20 minutes, or not my 20 minutes, my 60-minute complimentary one-on-one session with me. So if not, you will want to stay to the end to really get the details on that, to hear about a special opportunity to where you can take a deeper dive with me and really gain more insight on how to end that vicious cycle of yo-yo dieting, where we're losing, gaining, losing weight, gaining, or just nothing is happening at all. We want to build a healthy relationship with food. That is very important. We want to get you back to that old self, and so that you can enjoy going out, having more energy, being able to focus, just enjoy the skin that you're in, shop in your closet again, things like that, and continue the weight loss journey and just continue being healthy, which is first and foremost healthy and having energy to enjoy life. Okay. And so here is a sneak peek. If you are not able to stay to the end, but I'm going to post this in the chat as well so that you can see everything. Alrighty. And so let's get down to it. So recap of yesterday. Okay. So recap of yesterday. So yesterday we talked about, well, we recapped day 1 too. So day 1, we talked about your ways to clean eating, what it is, what it is not, and helps you to catapult your particular energy and metabolism. And then we also talked about where clean eating is a way of how eating lends itself to improving one's health and well-being. And so clean eating has a couple of principles tied to it. You're eating more whole foods, real foods in this natural state, but yet you add the flavor and you make sure that it tastes good to you. You eat for nourishment, 80-20 rule, because you also want to have fun foods too. You eat more plant-based. Does not mean go vegan, but that just means majority of your calories are coming from plant-based, which is typically your carbs, as well as your vegetables. Clean up your act, okay? And we were talking about some simple self-care principles, okay, where you can handle that as far as cleaning up your act. Listen to the replay, okay? And if you missed it for day 1 and for day 2. For day 2, we also talked about, let me see here. We talked about, let's see here. Yes, I actually want to make sure. Okay, so actually I combined the 2. So I wanted to make sure that I was giving it to you. So within 2 days completed, pat yourself on the back. This is really a big deal for you. So you want to definitely get an assessment of what we've done over the past 2 days. So of the 3 smoothies, which ones did you like the best? Just sleep. Are you sleeping better? Okay. Has anyone ever noticed the difference in your energy levels? Have you noticed any difference in your energy levels? What about the afternoon? Are you wanting to take that nap? Things like that. And so we want to recap and then just give some feedback. Today, we're going to talk about the Stinkin Thinkin, which is how do we stop that all or nothing mindset, which is very, very common. And so for some reason, we're taught over time that if we're not all in, then we're not giving our diet or we're not giving that thing 100% of what we have. And we feel like we failed. So a scenario, let's say you've been at the top of your game, you're exercising every day, you're eating healthy all week, and then you have one slice of unplanned pizza or a cookie one night, and then you feel like all of it's over. And you might as well throw in the towel and you feel like you've been defeated and you've blown it and things like that. And post yes, if you can relate to that and that's something that you have experienced. So challenge 3, day 3, We'll uncover how we unknowingly sabotage our diets as well as our results and how to stop that. Okay. Because we want to set ourselves up for success when we are taking on a lifestyle change because it takes time. Okay. And so be sure to stay with me to the end where I'm going to have this special opportunity for you to share some complimentary personalized support for me that help you move past the all or nothing mindset. So, post or comment if you can relate to an all or nothing mindset in regards to losing weight specifically. So, if you've ever said, I blew it, I ate something I know I shouldn't have eaten, so I might as well just start back on Monday, or I'll start back at the beginning of the month, or something like that. Okay. And there's something about Monday. I don't know what it is about Monday or the beginning of the month where people try to get back on the bandwagon, but it should matter. Okay. If it's a Tuesday, if it's a Thursday, it should matter. Okay. A classic scenario. So let me give you this classic scenario. So you have made a decision to eat healthy. Things are going great. Okay, you're feeling strong, you're feeling upbeat, and you've lost a little bit of weight. So you coasting, right? And then one night your friend wants to go out to dinner. Okay, you don't want to turn down the invitation because you don't want to, because you've been so perfect with your diet all week and only good, clean eating. And so, hey, you deserve a treat. You kind of lightened up a little bit. And so you've also intentionally avoided eating out because your diet doesn't allow for a lot of foods that many restaurant menus have. And so you go for the meal, dessert, a second glass of wine, who knows what else. Okay, this is what you did to celebrate. And the next morning you wake up feeling bloated and defeated. Okay, just because you overindulged the night before and you feel like you might as well just extend the party through the weekend. And so you go out for brunch and later the next day, you have these cookies, your favorite food of choice, and then you kind of come out of hiding. And then the next day you feel bad about yourself for failing. And so you can barely stand and look at yourself in the mirror and then decide, well, hey, I'll get back on the bandwagon on Monday. But right now I'm craving some ice cream. So I'm gonna go ahead and have that too. And so you've already blown it. Why not? And so you might as well get it now because tomorrow you're going to get back on the bandwagon. And so all of this all or nothing attitude towards food is probably the single most common way that my clients sabotage their healthy eating results and their efforts. And it's a cycle. And a lot of times we don't even understand what the trigger is. And so when we don't understand the trigger, then this is why we continue to have the problem. And I talked a lot about that in my Facebook Live last week. So post yes or yes and yes. Does it sound very familiar? Or is many aspects of this particular story common to you? I mean, it's a pretty common storyline, okay? And so let's talk about, so share how you felt after day 2 of eating, okay? Did you feel less bloated? Did you feel more rested? Did you feel less sluggish? More energy? Did you feel better overall? Or are you just glad that you did it? You survived it. So how did you feel after day 2? I mean, you should really you should applaud yourself because if it's just first time doing it, especially, you should feel really, really, really good about yourself. And so stop expecting perfection, okay? This is the first thing with all or nothing thinking. Stop expecting perfection. So in all honesty, nutrition, there is no such thing as perfection. There really isn't. And so when you expect some sort of divine perfection when you're eating habits, you're setting yourself up for failure. And so even the healthiest eaters, dietitians, perhaps, we eat junk food. We eat foods that are not exactly considered nourishing our bodies. We overindulge, okay? What is perfect though? What is perfect anyhow? Okay, so a perfect diet is unheard of. I assure my clients that each slip up and each stumble is necessary. It's a teachable moment. It makes us stronger. This is the perfect time to rewind and identify the trigger and ask yourself, well, what can I do differently next time? That is a question you need to ask because you will have a next time. So how do you handle it next time so that you're prepared and ready to handle it? And so then you move forward. You let it go. You don't beat yourself up about it. What's done is done. However, if you find this pattern repeating constantly, then this is where you need to get trained support and guidance so that we can dig a little bit deeper. And it's important to avoid the unwanted weight gain and the health complications that typically follow. Okay, so remember too that no matter what you eat, even if it's your perfect diet, you will remain the same person inside. So you are not defined by what you eat and how you eat. And so a lot of times people make that connection, and that also sets another wall up and makes it difficult for you to move past that. All right. So do you have a personal list of bad foods or foods that you avoid in order to lose weight, eat healthier, or get a handle on some kind of medical condition? Okay. So very, very true. Now we want to make sure it's an accurate list, okay? Because a lot of times we just kind of do a Google search and we just have this long list of stuff. And a lot of times the list is stuff that you need. So we're going to dig into that a little bit more. Excuse me. So I mentioned earlier that I wanted to speak more about this 3-day challenge. Some people are going to get everything that they need in this 3-day challenge and they're good and they're able to move forward. Some people are going to realize that, hey, I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more support. I want to dig a little bit deeper into what exactly I need. And the reason is breaking habits are not easy. Improving habits, breaking habits, changing habits is a challenge. And so fad diets, they typically offer a quick fix, but they're, however, usually unhealthy and they deprive the body of nutrients and calories that it needs. And so therefore, your body rebounds and you return back to those unhealthy habits because diets don't really teach you how to eat. And so been there, done that. If you have yo-yo dieted over and over and over again, very typical story, right? Remember that weight loss, even eating healthier, independent of weight loss, just being able to integrate life and healthy habits, whether it's eating or just life in general, it's not a one size fit all. To have success, it's important to find a plan that works for you. And it requires a level of personalization in order to make that happen, as well as time and grace. And so long-term weight loss is not an all or nothing process either. So we're going to work together to help you truly get back on track with building healthier eating habits so that you can ignite your energy levels and mental clarity, just to name a few. Why do we want to do that? As humans, we are not built to go at it alone. We need help. We need help to gain control over emotional and stress eating. We need help to end the confusion of what to eat and how much to eat that works for your body, and to find that balance of eating for weight loss, for nutrition, and for fun. Okay. All those have kind of different angles that we attack, but it is a way to make them all work together. So I'm offering a complimentary, no-cost 60-minute back on track phone session where we are going to discover your personalized keys to weight loss success. And so I'm looking for 12 highly committed people who are committed to success. And I typically don't offer these standalone sessions in my practice anymore, but if I did, it will come in at $125 for that particular session. So I have a few slots left, and this is your opportunity to participate. Okay. And so, you guys are actually getting a sneak peek of it. So it'll open up to the public on Friday. So you guys are actually getting an opportunity to get those slots before it opens to the public. All right, so check out the chat. And in this session, we're going to come up with a crystal clear vision of your specific nutrition and weight loss path for you. Okay, we're going to uncover any hidden obstacles or any unconscious patterns that maybe you're doing that you're not even aware of, that may be sabotaging your success with building healthy eating habits, losing weight, and keeping it off. So it's just a lot of things. I tell people, you don't know what you don't know. Okay. I didn't know what I didn't know. And so it took me I was trying for 3 years to lose 20-25 pounds. And I worked with a dietitian to help connect the dots. And it took 3 months. So it does have a lot it's a lot to have the support of somebody that's licensed and trained. And so I will take a look at those applications. You will simply go to the link. You will put your name on the calendar for a slot, and then submit the application. And it's as easy as that. So even if you never get picked for anything, I recommend that you that you actually put your name in the hat. You just never know. All right. And so let's go into the final topic of the Stinkin thinking and how do we stop the all or nothing approach. Okay. And so let good be good enough. All right. So for an all or nothing person, a restrictive diet is the road of guilt and shame. Okay. So if that person is not on a diet, they're off one. They're on and off, and there's no happy median. Okay. And so my recommendation, quite simply, don't diet. Okay. It usually involves low carbs. It usually involves high protein. There's some kind of over restriction. You're cutting out some kind of food groups that you need, and you want to eat healthy for many healthy eating requires defining. So let's talk about what that means. So, and for today, I want you to find your healthiest or your good enough. Okay. And so forget about the diets, the mentality of restricting, the good foods, the bad foods, and the shame around food and linking your value as a person to what you eat, because many people do that. It does not make you feel good and it never works in the long run. So, food and life are supposed to be enjoyable. You're supposed to have fun. And restrictive diets on and off stage are usually not sustainable, and they tend to result in cravings and binges for the very foods that you've been told not to eat. So, we don't want to exclude things to that degree. And so, when you are inevitably have slipped up, the resulting guilt may cause you to eat even more. And when this results in that on and off stage of dieting and overindulgence. And so it's an exhaustive, vicious cycle. And then also the mental mentality of diets can also be full of judgment about what that you like. Is it bad? Is it good? Is it clean? Is it dirty? and it may also transfer to yourself as a person. And so again, be kind to yourself. Let just put it out there. You are not your diet. Okay. And so eating unhealthy does not make you unhealthy. It does not make you a failure as a person. It doesn't make you a bad person. So we want to separate those two. So hopefully that is good news. And there's a way to keep hope alive, and hopefully hearing this takes a burden off, because a lot of times we put a lot of weight on ourselves and we give food way too much power than it deserves. Okay. So type hope alive if that is what you are feeling. And so the big takeaway message that I want you to have is, in a nutshell, we are not defined by what we eat or how we eat. And when we are trying to change habits and eat healthier, we set ourselves up for success. And so remember that you are human. You will slip up. You will not always follow the script, so to speak. And you'll learn that there really is no script. Once you understand the basics and know what is, then the sky's the limits. Okay. You write your own script every single day. And another approach is that slip-ups are teachable moments. Always remember the teachable moments. We rewind only to determine what was the trigger and what can we do differently so we can plan for the next time. We let it go and we move on. And know and trust that you are still moving forward in reaching your ultimate goals. Slip-ups help us to grow and to get us to the next level, okay? Because we are trying to step into our highest level of health. And so in order to do that, we're going to have some bumps along the way. And that's very normal. All right. And so next on the agenda, we're going to talk about building healthy habits, reminder tips. We're going to talk about breakfast and lunch assessments, as well as it's day 3. And so I want to remind you that the guidebook is used. It has all the recipes. It has all the substitutions. Reminder to eat within 2 hours of waking up. We want to have no more than around 4 hours between our meals. And let me check for any comments or any questions just to make sure I am not missing any. Okay, there we go. Just wanted to make sure. And we want to have an afternoon snack. I usually say typically between lunch and dinner. So, but you can move it. Just depends on the timing. Okay, so pay attention more to your timing, and don't skip your snack though. So make sure that you get it in. All right, so today we had the mango lime smoothie. So this is one that I like. I look forward to. It's kind of refreshing. So how would you rate that? Yummy, filling? Were you surprised that you liked it? And so did it hold you for 4 hours? Okay, so if you was shocked, post surprise. And so this is also a powerhouse smoothie. This one has cauliflower, so it has some veggies in it. We have our carbs from fruits, our mango, okay, a little bit from the lime. We have our healthy fats from the almond butter. We have our carbs version that gives us some protein as well, which is our low-fat dairy, which can come from the soy milk or the lactose-free milk or low-fat milk. And then we also have the protein powder, which is giving us our protein. So we have a nice little mix there of our macros that are giving us the satiety that we need. And then how would you rate the mango chickpea salad? So that's another easy one, something that a lot of people keep in their recipe box. So how would you rate that? Was it a hit? Was it okay? Was it a miss? And then you can always dress it up in different ways. But this has everything in it. You have your healthy carbs from the beans and protein from your chicken and your beans, the chickpeas, as well as your vegetables, as well as your homemade dressings. That's something that you can use for another occasion. And then we have our upcoming meals. We have the blackened fish taco bowl. So that's another fun one. And you can choose to saute the vegetables. This is more on the raw side. So you can saute all your vegetables and have it as a warm dish. So make it to your order, because this is more of a summertime type of menu. So that's why you notice it's a lot of things in their natural state. Your evening snack, feel free to alternate strawberry, watermelon. So feel free to alternate that and have fun with that. So very simple, very simple. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and hopefully you enjoy being able to grab and go and just have that ability to just like, okay, I know what I'm eating. So you kind of have an idea what meal planning and meal prepping is about. It's not as intimidating as people think it is. And so again, the link here for the Back on Track session. I look forward to looking at the applications and seeing and speaking with each and every one of you. And so it goes public tomorrow. Put your name in the hat. And again, I'm so proud of each and every one of you for your personal accomplishments. I pray these 3 days have sparked a new level of motivation and faith, and more capable of conquering your biggest goals and challenges with weight. And we can reverse the cycle, the vicious cycle. And so it has truly been a pleasure hosting this challenge, Summer Shape Up, and engaging with each and every one of you. And it's not over, okay? We don't have to stop here. And so I look forward again to seeing those applications. Don't forget, and I will talk to you next week. I'm back on live at my normal time on Tuesdays at 11:30 Eastern Standard Time. Be blessed and have a great one. Bye-bye.